Oh wait, Pat, you forgot something.
What?
He's nuts.
Ball.
Got him!
Yeah. Got you. Whoa, what happened?
We're on there.
We're live?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, guys. 1, 2.
No.
No.
That's a good thing. Stay like not.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for listening to the AndroidXperience podcast. This is a show where we keep you posted on what's new in the world of Google and Android and share our experiences with the platform. This is episode 8 on Tuesday, September 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Patrick Bergadamo, and I'm joined by my co-host, Todd Wright. What's up, Todd? Todd, you still there? Or did you mute? I was gonna say, did you mute yourself again?
No, I'm here. What's going on, everybody?
We also have 3 guests who also share our interest with the Android platform, and these guys need no real introduction, but I'm glad to introduce them, my old crew from the Simulcast. First, we got Bill Stebbins.
Was present.
Dave Valle.
Yo, what up, people?
And Mr. Jeffrey Farinha.
Hey, is this thing on?
So today what we're going to try to spend most of the day talking about is the Nexus event from earlier today. I guess we can call it Nexus event since that seemed to be the biggest thing from it. But the Google event today, there were a couple of app things that came from that I guess we could finally get out of the way at first and foremost. Google Photos, they announced is getting Chromecast support, which now lets you share your photos without screencasting, so that if you get texting during the middle of your sharing with your family, you don't have to worry about it popping up like Leo Laporte.
Wow.
True story. Got him.
Is it? It's several times. You also can now add name labels, and it makes it easier to share albums. Now you can send links to friends, and they can actually add things to the album, not just sharing what you've already shared, but they can actually, you can kind of together share stuff. So what are you guys' thoughts on some of this announcements from Google and this Photos update?
I'm excited. You know, it's kind of a pain right now to share a bunch of pictures back and forth with my wife and I, or my kids and I, and so this is going to make it so much easier, and we can kind of collaborate on, you know, if my wife and I are in separate places, we can have a folder where we share stuff together. You know, I can share whatever one of my kids is doing, and she can share what the other one's doing. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I figure for anyone who has kids, this is a great way to do that. Plus, if you want to share stuff to like your mom and things of that sort, it's a great way to kind of collaboratively share pictures.
I like that they said there was no setup. I'm going to be the ultimate test because I tried to do a hangout with my mom on her iPad, and it was not.
I don't know about you guys. One of my favorite things for Photos, and I played around with it last week, was creating the animated pictures from like the burst shots.
Mine has been doing that automatically.
Well, I mean, I get those if I'm doing burst shots, but I was able to take some screenshots from the other day because I was joking with some of the guys from the Tech Talk podcast. They were talking about, the live pictures and stuff for iOS. And so I took several screenshots of my wallpaper, of my live wallpaper, and then just strung them together as an animated GIF, and then sent them and go, oh, you talking about this? I sent them like the Matrix one from like way back in like Eclair days.
Yeah.
Props for pronouncing it correctly, by the way, because if you watched the live presentation today, he said GIF, and like I kind of tweaked out when I heard it. I almost crashed my car.
I love that peanut butter. People do that.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't know they were choosy moms on stage.
Did you ask him? I wonder if someone said crunchy or smooth.
Extra nutty.
Another one that didn't really come out today, but that has Google is basically the new Street View app that lets you tour and capture locations in 360 degrees. I can see where this, from a tourist standpoint, could be helpful, so that you can really see where you're at on the go.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that you can do that. So save a whole lot of money. Taking your family on vacation. You just
Here, look at the Chromecast this. Look at that. Wow.
Why go to Russia? No problem.
Why can't we go to France this year? Daddy's got to buy the new Nexus. Let's just look at it on Street View instead.
Come on, Geoff. That could have been an actual conversation in my household.
So another one that I don't know if you guys kind of, I know there's certain shows I like to watch on for Amazon Video for the Prime. One of the big things they're now doing is allowing Prime members to download content for offline viewing. And to me, that can be a real good thing if you have kids, like downloading like kid shows for like trips.
Yep.
Because I mean, the other one I actually introduced my sister to because she wasn't aware of this was the Disney Anywhere app, which I really like because if you buy any app or access any things in iTunes, Google videos, or if you like Vudu, it automatically lets you access through that app any of the Disney related content that they have access to that you have from any of those accounts, and you can access them on iOS or Android and download them for offline view. And so it works pretty well. I was showing them so that when they make trips, they can download movies for the kids to watch.
Yeah.
How long are they saved for before you have to, reconnect and log back in basically to validate it? Do you know?
I haven't really tested that because usually everywhere I go I have internet connection, but I mean it was pretty cool. In fact, I was looking at some of the movies that they have that they support for this, and pretty much all of the Marvel movies. The only Star Wars that is kind of iffy was A New Hope because Fox.
Right.
But I mean, it was pretty nice the fact that once you have this on any of those accounts, Disney is basically making you have access through any of your mediums. So to me, that's something we used to always talk about. We wish you could access your stuff more through more things. Well, this kind of makes it a no-brainer. It doesn't matter where you buy it from. If it's all connected, you can access that from any of your devices or your accounts.
Oh, it's huge. I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had some like I'd claimed digital copies years ago, and my sister and them, we just share their Vudu account, and now it shows up. All those movies I had now they can watch anytime they want.
I think they're one step closer to finally achieving that, in my opinion, real digital library.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason once you buy it, the company who owns the rights to it, they've gotten their money. You shouldn't have to buy it several times to watch it on different things.
Right.
Another app that they announced today is now going to be supported is a Showtime app, which if you already used HBO Go, there's a lot of good shows on Showtime. So if you have Showtime subscription, you can now use it on Chromecast. They also announced, and Dave, you'll like this with sports, Sling TV, NBA, and NHL are coming in a couple of weeks. I'm assuming we'll probably get Major League Baseball at some point.
That would be fantastic.
Which don't they have? Doesn't Sling TV have something with MLB?
I do not know.
But those are going to be coming soon. And then the last thing they announced, which it kind of goes when we'll talk about in a little bit with the new Chromecast audio, is Spotify is now supported in Chromecast. So if you were kind of hanging on to Spotify, it'll now work with your Chromecast.
That's good. Yeah.
But last but not least, now the real story of the day, the Google Nexus event, we got, as basically has been rumored, not one but two Nexuses. I actually looked it up to see what the plural of Nexus is. It's Nexus.
Oh,
it's actually Nexus. No, it's actually Nexus.
Okay.
But I do like the word Nexi.
Like moose.
Knuckle.
Blue balls.
Got him!
So the first thing that they announced, kind of starting with the lower end first, the Nexus 5X. I mean, they pretty much had the names and everything. If you've been reading the news the last couple of days, they nailed it. The smaller LG device, it's going to start at $379 for 16 gigs and $429 for 32 gigs. So, Bill, I think you picked up one of these as well, didn't you?
Picked up one.
I couldn't decide, so I bought both.
And for those who are listening, Bill will be the one telling us which one we need to ultimately get if you're not a person pre-ordering.
Yeah. So as we speak, my wife is out at the mall buying herself a couple new purses.
Vera Bradley like waits whenever there's a new
Yeah.
Nexus phone that comes
You didn't
out.
explain to her that the 5X is hers?
Yeah. Well, she still uses a Note 3, so if she was going to get anything, it'd be the 6P.
True.
But yeah, so I couldn't really decide, and honestly, I've never had a problem selling a Nexus device, especially right after launch. So I went ahead and just bought a 32 gig 5X and a 64 gig 6P. I think I'm going to probably end up keeping the 6P, but we'll see. I bought black on both, and I'm kind of, after seeing the 6P in white, I'm kind of thinking that might have been a better choice. But
So wait, hold on. So the two phones that you ordered, not even when the announcement was over, they're both yours, and then you can decide. Is that how it goes?
First world problems, Bill.
that's how.
Because
That's
life
how
is
it
hard
goes.
right now. Life is hard right now.
This is how he does side-by-side unboxing videos.
Yeah.
Tells you what not to buy.
You can use one of them to record the unboxing for the other.
Crazy.
Yeah. I have a slight OCD, Dave, and you know this.
I do.
The 5X would actually deliver supposedly a week before the 6P.
Yeah.
So
Better that than the other way around, because then you really probably wouldn't even want to open the box.
Yeah. But I mean, I did this with the Moto X Pure Edition. I ordered a custom one, and then I got one from Amazon to play with.
OCD.
They actually arrived at the same time.
I must have that too, because I got the 6P, ordered the 64 gig black 6P.
Yeah. And you've already got the Note 5, so you're good on devices anyway.
And a
Did you do
6S
that?
Plus.
So you guys both went with the 64 gig then.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Because I'm still on the fence, and I was torn between 64 or 128. And my biggest worry is with the 4K video and that sort of thing. But I mean, is the $100 really worth it for double the storage?
No.
$50
Okay.
is worth it to double the storage from 32 to 64. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only using 10 on my 32 gig Nexus 6 right now.
I mean, if you're the type that wants to load up a bunch of movies, then you might want to look at the 128.
Mine's
I
just
had-
music.
What I'm going to say
Yeah,
is...
that's overkill. I had a
Nope.
128 on my 6 Plus on the iPhone, and I hardly ever.
Yeah, but with the Nexus device, don't waste your money. Just get you a USB on the go and a little thumb drive. That's all you need. You can copy and paste to it and from it,
Yep.
and you can store all your movies on it. So if it's really getting to the point where you're exceeding 64 gigs, you can pop that stuff over to a 64 gig thumb drive or a 32 gig thumb drive, and you're good.
And I have to imagine that Google Photos will handle those 4K videos too, right? So
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Although, go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, so I think probably what's gonna put me over the top on the 6P is a couple of the camera features. It's got a slow-mo thing.
Yeah.
It's like 240.
What was it?
Yeah, 240.
240 frames per second, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at the benchmarks for it, and it's right there with the S6 and the Note 5. So the camera's actually good on both of these for once.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
They'll do really good with low light too, which is a big plus.
yeah. I mean, the Nexus 6 has done me well. I've had this thing for almost a year, so it's not a terrible device. But it's there's always places to improve, and between the laser autofocus and all the other stuff that they're doing, this looks to be like finally the Nexus that we wanted, minus wireless charging. But my biggest complaint with not having wireless charging is I hate trying to plug my phone in at night, and I guess with USB-C it won't be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So to take a riff off of Batman, it's not the Nexus you want. It's the Nexus you wanted. It's the Nexus you deserved.
I mean, we've always.
I was gonna say, is it the one that we deserved? Okay, I'm glad it is.
Yeah.
Finally, everyone before this has been the Nexus you wished you wanted, and now you got the one you finally deserve.
They say the build quality on the 6P is really, really good.
Yeah, and to kind of throw it out real quick on the 5X, we've got a 1080p Gorilla Glass 3 screen, 12 megapixel camera with, as Bill talked about with the low light, it's the 1.5 micron pixels.
1.55.
Yeah, did I not say that?
1.5. You took away the 500s.
Okay, and it's going to do 4K video shooting, as we've noted. It will have the new USB-C charging connector, and it's got the Snapdragon 808 processor with 2 gigs of RAM, only a 2700 milliamp battery, although they're touting that one of the new features of Marshmallow is that it's going to help with battery life.
It definitely will.
And then, as Bill mentioned, the laser autofocus.
Yep. Well, actually, yeah, it's a IR laser focus. For
Yeah.
people.
It's going to be, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the Nexus 5 was one of my favorite Nexus devices ever.
I liked it.
If it hadn't been for the shit battery life and the so-so camera, I mean, I used that phone for almost a full year.
I loved it right too.
That was funny.
I'm with you, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still say, though, I think one of my favorites was the Nexus 4, just because I like the glass. But, yeah, I agree. And the other thing, this one will have it just like with the 6P, the fingerprint, or as they're calling it, Nexus imprint, which supposedly will take you 600 milliseconds to recognize your fingerprint.
You know, all the iOS people were saying how slow that was.
Yes, they were. Yep.
Like, really?
Like in unison. Like I didn't realize it was caroling season already.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, it is. The new one is pretty fast, but
And supposedly it gets faster as it learns your fingerprint.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's cool.
So the question I had is, what the hell's the X and the P stand for?
Plus.
Yeah.
It's the Nexus 6 Plus.
The Nexus 5 something.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Extremely awesome. I mean, the camera, not to go back too far, but you mentioned the camera, Bill. I dropped a link in our little Hangout chat earlier today. There's a website called DxOMark, and they rate what they call mobile phones, but smartphone cameras, basically. And I don't know how they have samples already, but they have already rated the Nexus 6P, and they give it basically second only to the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge as far as camera photo quality goes. That's pretty good.
I looked and they don't have any of the new iPhones yet for some reason on there.
Or the Note 5, or the
Oh, you're right. They don't. I thought they had the iPhone on there, but I guess they
there's the
don't.
Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. That should be a little bit better than the regular Edge.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's better be, considering it's the next edition. The we're pissing you off because you bought your shit 3 months ago edition.
Well, that's pretty funny that they don't have that. But that is, I've seen that website before, and that's supposed to be the go-to website for camera benchmarks.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you
they
happen to see,
basically-
Geoff, where the Pure Edition fell on that?
Is it even
I was
on here?
impressed with that camera.
I don't even see that on here right now. They have the Nexus 6 at a 78. They gave the Nexus 6P at an 84. I
Okay.
don't see the Pure Edition on here, but I mean, I went to the iPhone 6 Plus page that they have, and they basically gave it just below what the 6P is capable of doing. And yeah, it may be a year later, but the 6 Plus is still a great camera even a year later.
Oh yeah.
So that's a
that's
huge
great.
jump for a Nexus phone.
Yeah, and don't forget the Nexus P is 12.3 megapixels, and the 6 Edge is 16 megapixels, I think. And people don't realize, okay, they say, oh, it's 12.3 megapixels, it's a jump back. Well, not really. If you think about it, a lot of the Nikons reigned for so many years with their lower megapixel models because of the size of their sensors, because they've always been fantastic at low light stills, and that's basically what it is here. Is that you have even though you have a it's not double the density, but you're getting a lot more information than the ratio to those megapixels. So it's gonna be a lot crisper, even though it's only 12.3 megapixels. So you're gonna get something at a quality of like something at a higher megapixel with a higher sensor and a lower megapixel model. So
I mean, even the fanboys should know that because that was what Apple was spitting out last year.
Right. And that's what HTC. Oh, never mind.
Kind of going over real quick the specs for the 6P. It is a 5.7-inch AMOLED, 2560 by 1440 resolution. Snapdragon 810 processor version 2.1 for those who have heard about the negative issues about version 1. 3 gigs of RAM available in 32, 64, and 128 capacities. And as we mentioned, has the rear 12.3 megapixel sensor with the 1.55 micro pixels. And it's basically similar, and they mentioned in a lot of the ads and the advertisements that, and a lot of the commentators were saying it's pretty similar to the ultra pixel cameras on HTCs for the low light. It does not have optical image stabilization, but I mean you have to have some trade-offs.
Well, they said it didn't need it because of the bigger pixels.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, with the laser autofocus, the front camera is 8 megapixels, which is pretty nice. And I love how a lot of these have to tell people there does not have a micro SD card slot. Well, duh, no Nexus has ever had one.
The first one did, I think. Nexus 1.
Oh, the Nexus One. I missed that phone.
I still go back and watch the videos for you guys talking about that phone.
Bill, that's like Bill was. Oh, I'll never forget that, Dad. I always got home. Bill's like, it's like Windows Mobile, but it's good.
It also has the USB-C Type-C port. It has Gorilla Glass 4 on it. It does have the dual stereo speakers, as pretty much had been leaked everywhere. Has a 3450 milliamp battery, which is nice, and it has quick charge technology.
Yes, which is awesome.
No wireless, but
I'll take quick charge over that any day.
Yeah, I will too.
Because you can actually use your phone versus letting it sit on a slate somewhere.
Yeah, I bought a quick charge car charger even just from my Nexus 6, and it's awesome. You know, a 10-minute drive to make a beer run or whatever. I add battery to my phone.
Yeah, that one that you sent me, Bill, that car charger. Holy crap! In like 10 minutes, I get like 40% charge.
Which one did you buy?
That Qualcomm one that he sent me.
It is the.
That.
Is it the Anchor? It's not the Anchor. It's.
Is it gray? Is it gray?
No, it's black.
Oh, I bought a little gray one. It was it's behind me.
It has 2 USB ports on them. And
it has 2.
Yeah, it charges so fast.
Yeah, I got a 3-port that's got it's got 1 port that's for fast charge. It's pretty useful.
They've got one now that's got 2. I actually bought a couple of those. Hold on, I'll find the.
Yeah, see, mine's only 1. I'd love to have one that has 2.
Yeah, let me look at my orders real quick.
While Bill looks at that real quick, I'll go ahead and throw out the pricing for the 6P. We're looking at $499 for the 32 gig, $50 step up at $549 for 64 gigs, and $100 step up for $649 for the 128 gig.
Yeah. So.
And I think the consensus so far amongst most people have been 64 gig.
So these pictures, Bill, that you just posted, they look pretty good. They're a little noisy. Dave, you have probably a better eye than I do, camera-wise. Bill just threw a link in the Hangouts chat, but it looks a lot better than any other Nexus thus far.
Yeah, and Roman Gee took those pictures with a 6P, so I didn't pull them up on anything large, but they looked good on my phone.
Mm. They look pretty nice on this MacBook Retina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that quick charger is an Aukey, and if you watch, they'll have them for like $9 or $10 a lot of times. It's a dual port, a quick charge 2.0.
Yeah, I bought one of their external battery packs when they had like one of their deals. It was like 20,000 milliamp.
I have one right here. Perfect. Quick charge 2.0 everywhere.
Yep.
So the one that you have, are both ports, because I'm looking at one right now, not to derail the show, are both ports quick charge or just one?
Both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, one is supposed to be for Qualcomm processors, but I've used both and I haven't had an issue. I mean.
All right, cool.
Yeah, they actually have one that's got 2 orange ports that are quick charge 2.0, both of them.
Yep.
That just came out like a couple weeks ago.
That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're low profile, so they don't like take up a whole lot of room or anything.
Definitely have to look at getting one once I get my Nexus.
Yep.
So the other thing they announced with this for the pre-orders, they're giving away a 90-day free trial of Google Music. I don't know what you, Bill. I'm still grandfathered in thanks to you at the $7.99.
Yep.
So that's not a big deal for me. The nice thing though is, and it's only for those people in the U.S. Unfortunately for our listeners everywhere else, they're giving away a $50 Play credit for all U.S. pre-orders. Which it doesn't necessarily reduce what you're paying, but you can kind of think of it as a way of buying all these new apps and stuff for your nice shiny new device.
Yep.
Of course, the nice thing, and Todd, I think you're still on Project Fi, right?
No, I canceled my Fi.
Cancel it. Well,
it's not that it was bad or anything. It's just
it was superfluous for you.
Yeah, I didn't really need it, and it was. I kind of like having my Google Voice on the web instead of on the phone.
Yeah.
I just like the main control of being on the web.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, they announced today that both of the new Nexi will be supported on Project Fi, so that brings us to a grand total of 3 devices.
I thought I saw somebody earlier said that they even have offering a financing option through Fi on the new phones.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I figured they probably would, since they did the whole thing. They still haven't really rolled it out completely, and they were already doing it for the Nexus 6, and
right.
These devices are pretty affordable. So I could see why they would do that to get more people to buy it. Now, kind of going with that, and one of the things that Project Fi kind of brought us, the idea of the replacement Nexus program. Well, Google announced today that they're going to have a Nexus Protect, which is they're going to be their warranty support program similar to like Apple Care, but cheaper. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's kind of a no-brainer, especially if you're a person who has kids. that if you're buying like a 5X for a kid, to be able to get replacement. And I like the fact that they said they'll overnight you a replacement phone while they're working on your phone.
Yeah, it's a pretty good program. Looks to be. I guess they're trying to get a little competition with the Apple Care.
Yeah, I mean, this makes sense too with Project Fi to have some kind of mechanism to encourage people to not have to worry about replacement device. Actually, protect your device by paying this. And I mean, it's going to be $69 for the 5X and $89 for the 6P. Perfectly reasonable. And I'm wondering if they're doing the finance program, if they're allowing people to roll that into their financing, which would be interesting.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't.
Because that way your device can be replaced that you're still paying on.
Yeah.
Seems like you'd want to encourage them to do that. Then, as we talked about a while ago, they announced the Nexus Imprint, which is going to be their fingerprint support. Which I don't know how many of you guys use Android Pay. That's going to be a big deal because supposedly for your payments and stuff, it'll automatically, instead of doing passwords and stuff, you can use it. And as we talked about earlier, really quick response time. And I mean, and it doesn't look like it's like hideous or anything. Like we saw some of the initial pictures and stuff where different types of pictures supposedly leaks for what the ring would look like. I mean, it looks pretty simple on the back of the device.
Yeah, I think I like it because it's a natural place to position your finger. It's not something awkward like on the front, of the Note 5 or whatever, where you got to you're just going to pick up your device, and even on the Nexus 6, your finger just kind of. Yeah.
I mean, it's where you want. It's almost kind of like was it LG that had the rocker right there, which was about in that same spot.
Yep.
So speaking of Google Music, we've kind of heard some rumors about this, and that ended up being true as well, that they're going to offer Google Music family plans of $14.99 a month, up to 6 people, and no device limits.
Give me now.
I know, this is what needs to happen.
It's what I've been hoping for. Because, we hit that device limit if you've got 4 people like I do in your house, it doesn't take long between switching devices and stuff, and even replacement devices count against that.
Yeah.
So I've already hit that. That's why right now I have 2 accounts, and that sucks because it's $20 a month.
Yeah.
I'm a third of the way there just in the last 2 months. So.
Only have one.
And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I use my Google Music all the time, especially when I'm driving to and from work.
Yeah, I use it a lot too. I've actually kind of switched back to it from Spotify just because I like the web player a lot better.
I haven't used mine as much, and I'll tell you why. My recommendations are all screwed up because we're sharing the same account.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only take so much Taylor Swift mixed in with your Metallica.
At least you know what your kids are listening to.
Yeah, I told them they don't need to listen to Metallica anymore. It's messing up my Taylor Swift flow.
I would say that's kind of like me with my next Netflix intros when I used to before they did the multiple accounts, and I used to when my nieces would go over to my mom's house for the weekend, I'd let them log into my Netflix, and I'd go in there and suddenly it'd offering me PBS and Disney specials. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the $14.99 a month is going to be nice, and 6 people that should cover just about most families.
Seems like a good balance.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you need to either just have individual accounts, or maybe get a second 6-person family account.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't said anything, but I wouldn't put it past Google at some point maybe to have an add-on thing to add more people. But I'm sure they'll kind of test the waters with the 6 to see how that works.
If you're the Brady Bunch, pay up for another plan. Seriously. The Duggars.
The $20 a month special for Utah. Another big news especially for us guys who may already have older Nexus devices. We formally got told that Android 6.0 Marshmallow will be coming to those devices starting next week. And I think Dave, you said you had heard possibly as early as Monday.
Yep. That actually, there were 2 articles that confirmed that October 5th is when they going to start rolling out Marshmallow. Marsh.
Cool.
So, I mean, that's going to be nice. And one of the things that they made a point of saying was with the 6 and the 5, Nexus 6 and 5, that the battery saving features that it's going to have is going to really be helpful for those devices, and that they were looking at a 30% battery increase for when your screen is off.
Yeah, those actually, I think Bill has that on his ABR Build 3, right? I believe.
The now on tap?
Yeah, those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the commentation. I was looking in on with the Verge's because it was the easiest one. This is the first one that popped up when I was trying to watch it, and there's she's basically telling us it will tell your device to chill the hell out, your apps to chill the hell out while you're not using it.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything that helps with battery life. I mean, they've all been working with it since Ice Cream Sandwiches when they first started working on battery issues.
Yeah, Doze works extremely well. I can't wait to see it with the new devices with that onboard sensor that handles all the stuff rather than the processor being awake.
Yeah, and that should really help too with those people who are complaining about the smaller battery for the 5X. If you're getting good battery life for that, it really shouldn't matter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a bigger battery versus the Nexus 5. Plus, I'll tell you, my daughter has the Moto G, and I don't remember what size batteries in that. I think it's something similar. But she gets really good battery life out of that thing. I know it's only a 720p screen, but she gets 4 or 5 hours of screen on time, and it goes all day long.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, those HD screens really can use up a lot of juice.
Yeah.
One thing that's also nice with Marshmallow 6, for those getting the new Nexus, they basically talked about they're going to have less apps already installed, so that'll also help because you won't have stuff that's there potentially running if you don't download it and install it yourself. They're trying to go more just light what is absolutely needed to run and then leave it to you to put your apps on.
Yeah, and I heard you can uninstall a lot. You'll be able to install just about most of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, you've been able to do that with the Nexus devices. I mean, what'll be interesting is to see if any of the carriers pull the crap they did with the previous ones, where when you activated on their system, it would automatically install apps.
Yeah.
That'll be the interesting take. Well, moving beyond the Nexi, the other big news that we've been kind of waiting for is we got 2 new Chromecast devices. And the first one, which I don't know about you guys, the Chromecast 2, I don't really like the design of it. But I do like the fact that it's going to now support 5 gigahertz for Wi-Fi. And supposedly it's got improvements on its Wi-Fi that are going to be great for people who want to do wireless. But I
mean, the design, yeah, is kind of weird, but in my opinion, I don't ever see my Chromecast. That thing is I never see it. So it can look like horseshit.
It's hidden.
It'll still be, as long as it's functional, who cares really, to be honest with you.
Sure. I mean, and I think the big thing is, I know a lot of people, because of wireless issues with the original one, most people were using the extender anyway. So, I mean, it wasn't like you were just plugged straight into your device. You had it dangling behind there somewhere.
Right. It looks like a better design overall because they've got the cable built in, so it extends away from the port, whereas you had to use that bulky extender before. Yeah. And I think the round design, it makes sense the way they're trying to do everything with the antennas. So I personally don't care, but I can't unsee the Beats Audio logo.
You know what? I was like, I had to take a double take. I was like, holy crap, it looks like the Beats, and then I was like, whoa, that's the Chrome. That's the Chrome. Yeah, I don't know, man. I see a lawsuit coming up. You know how that works.
I'm kind of curious though with the Chromecast 2 if that network adapter they just released for the original Chromecast, if it's going to work with it. That was the thing I kind of thought about after the presentation. Was I'm wondering if that add-on that they've been selling out of is going to work with the new Chromecast. I mean, obviously, you would hope you wouldn't need it because the increased Wi-Fi control ability and the 5 gigahertz support. But I mean, I like the fact that I'm plugged in at 150 megasecond down.
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't work.
I mean, you would think it would. I guess the question is going to be whether it supports it.
The software support.
Yeah. I mean, and some of the new updates for the Chromecast software, it looks pretty nice. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting how that kind of plays out. Because, I mean, it seems like they're trying to have it kind of become your hub for, like, accessing stuff. The other device they introduced, which similar kind of design, although it's made to look kind of like a little bit like a record with grooves, was the Chromecast Audio, which I'm sure, I know, Bill, you and Dave, you both of your receivers have a HDMI port on it anyway, doesn't it?
I'm so happy to have that Chromecast Audio. So when I upgraded my receiver to the similar model that Bill had, that receiver that I had, I'm actually using for my patio audio because I have outdoor speakers. And, basically, what I have is I have a little Bluetooth adapter that goes behind it, and it's just basically a little thing that plugs into, the 3.5 jack into RCA's, and it's horrible, like so bad that it makes me want to freaking throw it. It's just terrible. So as soon as they said Wi-Fi, I completely went, because now basically I can go anywhere I want in my backyard and it won't cut out. I'm just like, I'm so happy.
Yeah, because I mean your range with Wi-Fi is going to be way larger than what you had with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you think about it, it's basically like the Chromecast, right? So basically, it pulls it from the internet. So even though you're down the street, it's still it's pulling it from the internet. It's not pulling it like actually from your phone.
Right. Yeah, I think this will be some good competition for the Sonos crowd.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this Chromecast Audio is going to start a whole new revolution. I'm telling you, it's what I've envisioned something like this for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, I mean, this may sound stupid, but when I got my first Chromecast, I tried something similar to that, but it didn't work, obviously. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and the fact that they've sold 20 million, I mean, there's obviously a market there.
Yeah, well, they're cheap. I mean, $35 or less, And that, you know, you look at the Sonos, the device that does the exact same thing is $350.
Right.
Right.
So
I mean, I have my whole house is Sonos, unfortunately.
it's a tenth of the cost.
Yeah.
Plug and play, and you're using your phone, you're using a tablet, you're using a computer, you're using pretty much anything you want, and you don't have to actually, like Sonos, have to install stuff. Like you don't, or
spend a ton of money.
Spend a ton of money on the plug and play models, but. Yeah,
well, I mean, and the other thing with the Chromecast audio with 3.5 millimeter jack, you pretty much have plenty of legacy support for just about any stereo you can think of.
Yep.
Yeah, and one of the stupid things on my Onkyo device, and actually I think my other one too, on my second zone, you can't use digital audio for that.
Yep.
So even though I had
Really?
a Chromecast, when I wanted to broadcast out to my patio speakers, I can't.
Wow.
So I had to I got one of those Moto Streams, and I'm running the same issue as Dave. It's Bluetooth, which is fine when you're sitting right in front of it.
Right next to you.
Go outside.
Yeah, I've got a nice little Sony alarm. It had one of the old iPod docks on it, but it had really good sound quality. But I've never really used a phone or anything in it ever since I got rid of that iPod. So, but it does have the 3.5 millimeter jack in it. So that's when I make my podcast listening at night a lot better.
So, I mean, I think both of these are going to be definite improvements, and I think it kind of shows that we kept talking about for years how they kind of dropped the whole Android TV, well, originally Google TV, the Android TV. I think this is kind of now where they seem to be focused on the home media, is using the Chromecast app as a way to kind of access these different devices. And so it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, and then as they kind of evolve this with all the other things Google will be kind of pushing out.
So they can stay focused. I'm just worried that they're going to try and do too much and lose focus, and then I hope it doesn't become Nexus Q
Or Google Glass.
or Google Glass, both of which I bought.
Well, but the Q, didn't they end up giving you that? Or no, you canceled yours, right?
Oh, I bought mine on eBay because you weren't able to find them, so I was stuck with mine.
Yeah. Because I remember we were talking about that. You canceled your free order, then you found out you could have got it for free.
Yep. Either way, I'm going to get one of each.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to end up picking up at least a Chromecast 2 and possibly a Chromecast Audio, but definitely the Chromecast 2 just because, I mean, the way my apartment's set up, having better Wi-Fi support will be definitely good for the bedrooms and stuff.
Right.
Just for that, if nothing else. The last kind of big thing that they kind of left us with a tease at the Nexus event was kind of a sneak peek of the Pixel C. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want one.
Me too.
I very much want one.
I mean, they kind of let us know that we're looking at for the holiday season, so I'm guessing that's November.
Yeah.
Early December, and I like the fact that it's going to be starting at $499. So I mean, it's definitely affordable.
Well, I heard Pixel and I expected it to be $1,300. I mean, because that's what the other Pixel, the Chromebook Pixel, was somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
And
I was expecting $700 at least.
Yeah, I was thinking we were looking at Surface Pro prices or something.
Right.
So I'm good with the $499, and I don't even know that I would need the keyboard dock. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but I mean,
150, I think.
Great.
125, I think.
25.
129.
And it's got inductive charging, so it can actually charge through the.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
That's very. I mean, that was like one of those Apple type touches, you know.
Right.
No, Geoff, you are right. $150.
150.
Yeah.
For $650 for the whole thing. That's
But
still.
it's essentially a laptop. It's hard. It's rigid. It closes. It's like an actual laptop. It's not some sleeve that
And I mean, the nice thing is $499 for 32 gigs, $599 for 64. I mean, that's definitely reasonable compared to what, like, even with the Nexus 9 when it first came out. I still love the comments that were made during the presentation of this. And he goes, all those who bought Nexus 9 last year, look away, look away. And the other thing is nice on this, it's going to have 3 gigs of RAM, which is nice. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, but this is going to be and one of their selling points was the first Android tablet built end-to-end by Google.
I wonder
And
if
it's also got a Tegra X1, so it'll be
Yeah.
a graphics powerhouse too.
Yep.
Same chip as the Shield TV, right?
Yep.
I believe that's right.
I believe so. It's got the Tegra X1 with the Maxwell GPU.
do we know who the ODM
nice.
is for it?
What's that, Bill?
Do we know who the ODM is? Who built it for Google? I didn't see anywhere. I'm just curious.
No, I
Who
didn't
built
see
the Pixels? Anybody know? The first, the actual regular Chromebook Pixel.
I don't know.
Wonder if it's the same person.
Me.
Maybe it's HTC since they're not really doing anything else right now.
Yeah.
looking to see if maybe Android Police will tell us.
They probably already have a whole slideshow about it from 2 weeks ago.
I was looking at their site and I didn't see anything about
Well, that's fine. It's not super important. I was just curious. It looks like a really nice solid device.
it. Really does, you know.
And at that point, my Nexus 9 will be over a year old, and it's probably already over a year old actually. But maybe time to upgrade my tablet, and we'll see.
It says I'm looking here. It says that Apple made it.
You mean? I mean, their whole thing. We didn't invent it, but we made it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, they'll
geez.
have inductive charging in their keyboard dock in about 3 years. It'll be amazing.
It's a new feature.
Never before seen.
In quick charging.
Titanium.
I wouldn't be surprised though if you don't see now that they have the watch out for the mag charge, if they don't come up with some mag charge stuff for like the Pro or the next year's iPad.
They should.
I mean, at some point it would make sense, especially if it can be used for your watch as well.
Yep.
The phone will probably be the first thing that gets it, so that's why I figure maybe next year.
Yeah, the 7 will have something
Yeah.
cool like that, hopefully.
So that was kind of the event news. The only other kind of bits of news we have, Motorola has now come out, the new 360's out. Other than the new processor, I mean, I know you and I've talked about this, Bill, last time. I mean, it is a step up from the OTI, but
That new case, that
Huh?
finish on the
Yeah.
face of the watch is so awesome. I was tempted to buy one, but for you go from $299 entry to look at that to $449 or whatever, and it's like, oh,
leave it to Todd. Todd, so what do you think about it?
I like it, and it's going to be my pick for tonight, so thanks for ruining that for me.
You're the one that showed it.
That's all right. I'm just giving you a hard time. I like it. I got the men's 42 millimeter just because it's, I had been sporting the Apple Watch, and I kind of liked that size. I'm not too sure about the real big 360, and it looks good, and it's real comfortable. I like I like the fact that the lugs are on the outside now, so you don't have to start digging in just to change your watch straps.
I still have nightmares about that.
Yeah, and another good thing that they did, it's a lot better build quality. I think the build quality is pretty close to the Apple Watch, because with the old one you had a real cheap plastic backing, and if you look at this one, it's kind of like I'm pretty sure it's glass.
huh.
It's pretty nice.
So yeah, so far so good. I'll be interested to see what the battery life is.
Same charger?
Yeah, the exact same one.
Okay. So that's good. So if you get one, you can still use your old chargers.
They said the old charger wouldn't work.
Really?
I don't know.
It'll look the same. I mean,
Yeah.
It's working, right?
it might be a little smaller or something because of this watch. I'm gonna see how this one does. I could always swap it, but
Todd, do you have an old one?
I think I've got. You want to buy it?
No, I meant your old charger, so you can see if it works.
No, it's probably.
I've got an extra one. I would say if not, I have an extra one. I can send it to you to test that if you want.
Oh no, I've got one. I'll test
Okay.
it.
Todd, are there two watches sitting over to your right?
He's like, why, you want to buy it?
2 watches? I don't think so.
There's not 2?
Oh, that looks like 2 watches behind
There's
him.
2 watches.
It does.
Oh yeah, never mind.
He's like,
Yeah, you know. And you think I have problems?
Oh, I know I've got a problem. But I don't. I admit it.
Wow. I'm rocking my Gear Live tonight. That
Wow.
thing over a year old, still ticking.
Yeah, that's one of the watches.
wait, Bill, you have the
The other is the Gear 2.
the 360?
Yeah, I have 360 also.
Yeah, mine's on the charger right now.
Yeah, I gotta get it.
But yeah, so this new one, I mean, even that, I thought maybe the small version I wouldn't like it, but I think I'm gonna keep on rocking.
I almost bought the bigger one of the new Moto 360, and then I was talking with Bill, and I ordered the first gen Moto 360. And I have tiny wrists. I don't have mine on right now, but I'm happy I did not buy was it the 48 millimeter or 46 millimeter, whatever it is.
Huge.
I'd be walking down the street looking. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't even see this, but I'd be walking down the street like this thing on my wrist. You know what I mean? It was just
You're looking like you got an Invicto in your
selling
wrist.
drugs or something. Yeah.
Wow. My wrists aren't huge, but they're not small either, so it's pretty good.
How's the moving the button work?
It's really solid click.
Yeah, I was looking at. I got an Invicta here. I don't know what size it is. I think that's about it. But yeah, that would be probably the same size. I think it's a 46. And
It's a good size watch.
Yeah, it'd be good for me. I always wear my Moto 360 to work, and then when I get home, I switch to the other one just because it's more like, I can go for a walk or whatever with that.
Yeah.
On and not worry about knocking it around.
I wear my 360 to work all the time, and everybody's like, "Oh, is that an Apple Watch?" No, it's better.
You ever get the people that go, "Is that the Apple Watch?" And you go, "No, it's Android Wear." Oh, Google's always copying Apple.
The best is when they go, "Is that the iWatch?"
Yeah.
That's the one I get. Yeah, is that the iWatch?
Oh, I'm like, no, I had this before Apple, like a year before Apple came out with theirs. But okay.
And it's half the price.
Garbage.
I mean,
Yep.
So, kind of the last bit of news we've got is with Android Pay. We kind of talked about it a while ago. It's rolling out. Hopefully, more places will start where you can use it easier. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with the newer devices where with the fingerprints, that should make it even easier to use that stuff. So you don't have to punch in pins and codes all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, that was annoying when I used Android Pay because I unlocked the phone before I did it, and then it prompted me again. So right there at the counter, I had to put in my passcode again, which was dumb. So it'd be nice with just the fingerprint. Bam.
Nice. Anyway.
So, kind of moving into our picks from the panel, Bill, we'll let you kind of start off with what you got for us this week.
All right, so my pick this week, I don't know why, but I always end up buying live wallpapers. I don't know why, and I think they're cool for about 3 or 4 days, and then I'm like, I'm going back to a static one. But I got a wild hair to get the Google Now live wallpaper of some kind because I like those backgrounds. So anyway, I found this one. It is a live wallpaper called Mountains Now. Yeah, Mountains Now. And I actually have the premium version, which is like $160. The thing I like about this is it changes throughout the day. So during the day, there's a sun up there and it's bright out, and the lighting changes. And then as you go through the day, it gets dusk and then dark, and so it's got a parallax effect. You can dumb that down, and then there's a boat that goes by. And, it's not really anything too fancy, but it's kind of neat. It gives a little bit of life to my home screen, and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, but the last one I kind of remember with that, I think what was the Evo 4G had the similar live wallpaper where it would do the weather and then like the time of the day.
Had the grass and stuff.
Yeah.
That the Houston. Wow.
Oh wait, look, it's got a kickstand. That was my favorite feature ever.
Yeah.
That phone.
That was one of the first phones that came out that was bigger than 4.5 inches.
Remember when this was considered big?
Remember that? Yeah. We're like, oh my
Phone
god!
got me a job at Pocket now too.
Yeah.
I hear Walgreens sells them.
Yeah, on
Give me
Boost
the one with
Mobile.
Give me the one with the bigger GBs.
The Wi-Fi, and the bigger GBs.
GBs.
That's funny.
It will turn into a plane and fly you to that island.
I don't care. I want the one with the bigger GBs and the Wi-Fi's.
Right. Wi-Fi.
I still love that video. I watch it occasionally on YouTube.
Yeah.
When people get on my nerves, especially after I get those questions like you, Bill. So they just copy off of Apple, huh? I just want to cue that video up and just go, here. This is you. Kind of like the new version of Here's Your Sign. So, Dave, you got us a pick?
Yeah, my pick is an app. So I have the Nexus 6, and there in the built-in camera app, there isn't a huge amount of choices. So basically, what this app is called Camera FV5, and basically I can take complete 100% control of my camera. I can change. I could do basically what you can do with an SLR. DSLR is basically, change the shutter speed, change the focus, whatever. And it's good for different lighting situations. You can change, even though. Well, another good thing is actually, I don't want to keep bouncing around, but actually one of the main reasons why I bought it was because it has RAW support. So
Nice.
basically so basically what a RAW file is the difference between a JPEG and a RAW file is like when you take a picture on a camera that's set to JPEG, it basically completes the file, so it dumbs it down as a finished product, as to where a RAW file
Uncompressed, right?
Yeah.
is basically an uncompressed file where you can edit it without it being degraded as far as the quality. So and I've actually seen there's a guy on Facebook that has a Nexus 6 that has the FE5, and he has some sample pictures that are, in my opinion, I thought you took it with a professional camera. I have to
Really?
he did a crazy HDR, and people did not believe that he did it, and he actually showed the original and the after, and it's just amazing.
Probably a good photographer too, because I've seen some people take point and shoots that look really good because they know light composition and all those things too.
Yep.
With this being able to do RAW, where you can really kind of use your skills, the camera gets better use, because it's not, cause it's kind of like using anything where you use the kiddie tutorial version or something of something.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be zoomed down versus if you do it and control every element of it yourself.
Yeah, I actually use the with the built-in app, I use the HDR Plus on it on almost everything, and it really shines. Like when you're closer into low light situations, dusk situations. I have a picture that I posted a couple weeks ago of my son at the baseball on the baseball field.
Oh yeah, I saw some of those.
Yeah, so that was so you can see the sky is pink, purple, and stuff like that, and that's actually the HDR mode that comes built in with the camera app, which is fantastic. And I remember talking to Bill, and before I bought my Nexus, and I'm like, well, I heard sketchy things about but then I talked to him, I remembered all the pictures that he's taken of his cars and stuff like that look amazing. So I'm like, that completely went out the window as far as me having any concerns with the camera. So camera FV5 is the there's a free version, and you can so the free version only limits you to 1.3 megapixels, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I actually paid for an app. Wow, go figure, right?
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay, guys, it's really good because Dave paid for it.
That's right.
2015. Holy crap!
I did not pirate it. I actually paid the $5.99 or whatever it was.
$5.99.
Wow.
Listen,
That's territory right
I'm
there.
impressed.
Yeah.
That's like the platinum seal of approval right
Listen,
there.
Holy crap.
I've never paid for anything in my life. You saying?
Stop what you're doing and go buy it right now. I'm going to go buy it right now, Dave.
Oh, so he paid $5.99, but he can actually refund that to the Play Store and get $10.99 back somehow because he's Dave Valle, and he can make deals work.
And keep it.
Yeah, right. And still keep it.
I've already decided if I ever need to sell anything, I'm just going to send it to Dave and let him.
If it's to Dave, you could...
Dave get a commission.
I've got some phones, Dave.
I told you I'm selling my Nexus 6 for like $450.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, dude. You're a pro. Crazy how you make it work.
Just tell him it's the iPhone 7.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell him it has a built-in Moto 360 built into it or some shit.
It's got the Wi-Fi and the bigger GBs.
Yeah, the bigger GBs.
Yeah. I tell him it's got lightning cables.
So Geoff, what you got for us?
So mine's pretty simple. Mine's just a messaging app that I've been using for a while, and I'm trying to spread the word. And it's just Telegram Messenger. I have a lot of friends who use iPhones and other iDevices, and this kind of has helped me with my switch to Android because I can now use a messaging application that's kind of like iMessage and what it has to offer, but it's platform agnostic, and I've gotten pretty much everybody in my family to switch over to it. And Telegram Messenger is free. It's awesome. They have some cool stickers like Julius Caesar and all kinds of stuff. And check it out. You may as well.
Nice. So what you got for us, Todd?
Well, since you already ruined my pick with your news there earlier, so I was going to do the 360. So instead, what I'm going to do is do an anti-pick. And my anti-pick is the M-Audio producer USB microphone, because this has got to be the biggest piece of shit I have ever owned. It's why my audio hasn't really worked well tonight, because it just quit. So I had to use the mic on my Logitech camera here for the podcast. I'm sitting here talking to the guys earlier before the podcast and right when it started, and I'm like, well, why won't y'all reply to me?
We don't like you.
You got a Mac?
I love it. He finally had to send us a message because we're just sitting there. We're not expecting anything else. So he's like, "Can you guys hear me?" What? No.
So yeah, do not buy M-Audio.
I wish I'd have known, Todd. I just gave away my old 990. I'd have sent it to you.
I'm still using mine too.
Yeah. I mean, I finally made the switch over to this Heil, and I would have sent it to you if I'd have known you needed a mic.
What is that, a PR40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's the best of the best.
That or the RE20. That's
the RE20, yeah. RE20 is some serious stuff.
Yeah. So it's upgrade time, microphone-wise, for me. So
if you get Dave to sell you some phones, then you can go use that to go buy it.
I should do that because I've got a stack of them.
I'll tell you, Dave can make some cash.
I can make it rain, bitches.
So my pick of the week for this time is going to be the 8BitDo. It's the NES 30 Pro. It's their Bluetooth game controller. I really like it as a person. I know, Geoff, you know, we love playing emulator games and stuff, the old classics.
Oh, yeah.
And so a friend of mine posted this, and I said, "Oh, thank you. I'm going to buy this." And so I've actually tested it with my iPad Mini as well as my Note 3, and it works perfectly in Bluetooth with all my emulators that I have. It also I haven't been able to test it on a PC, but supposedly it'll work Bluetooth on a PC. With Mac OS, it'll work as a wireless keyboard, which I don't know. There's no keys on that, but it will work via wired mode. It uses a micro USB cord. It's a pretty sizable cord too. You can plug it in, and it works perfectly with OpenEMU too. And I played some Mike Tyson Punch-Out the other day, and it works really well.
Bald bull.
So I mean, it works pretty well, and as I said, I've tested it with the iPad Mini and the Note 3, and it worked perfectly. Well, I mean, Note 3 is kind of on the small side for what you want to carry around, but for a tablet, especially if you have like a Nexus 9 or something, perfect.
Awesome.
Sweet.
And next time I'll hopefully be talking about how this coin works. Finally got that in.
Sweet.
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 Hopefully, I'll just be happy if I was able to talk next time.
We'll see what we can fix up for you before we have our next one.
Yeah, I need to do something.
So let's let it go around and let everybody know how the listeners can reach you guys. Bill?
I'm easy to find. You can find me on Twitter at Bill Stebbins. Yeah, that's where you want to follow me. Don't follow me on Instagram unless you like seeing all my cars, because that's all I post.
Sweet cars, though.
But that's how you're internet famous because of that now.
Right, that's right.
How about you, Dave?
You can find me sometimes on Twitter at dvalle07. I don't really check it much, but I probably should. Yeah, I mean that's really about it. That's where all the cool kids hang out. So that's where I'll be. I don't check it, but you can always have a conversation. Hey, listen, I don't check it as much, but if you want to mention me and start a conversation, I'm totally down for it. I'll never turn anybody.
Worst case, send us a message and we'll send Dave a message to go check his Twitter.
Yeah, check my Twitter and then and then we'll hang out virtually. No homo.
So how about you, Geoff?
So I'm on Twitter, not as much anymore either. More than Dave, but not as much, just the same. So pretty much Twitter, Instagram, anything, you name it. Xbox Live, Steam, it's Geoff F, GEOFF.
Wow.
You still doing that other podcast?
Yes, the Jacked Cast?
Yes.
Yeah, I am doing the Jacked
That's why I
Cast.
figured maybe you can let people know where you can find you on that.
Yeah, so that's, I don't even know. It's a podcast called the Jackcast.
Jackass?
I do that. Got him! I do that with Mike Florio and Clay Russell. That's a monthly podcast as well. Just look for the Jacked Cast in your favorite podcast aggregator.
What do you guys talk about in that show?
Jacked Castness.
Cool.
No, it's about like fitness and such.
Is it?
Yeah. Dieting, all that jazz.
Sweet.
We just got to get Geoff back to talking about gaming.
The problem is finding the time to play the games than to then talk about them.
See, now we just need to find you some fitness games.
There you go.
Some MLB The Show.
I haven't played the show in a couple years.
Me either. I need to get a PS4, though. So, Todd, how about you guys? Where can we find you?
You can always find me on Twitter at Todd W. You can also find me on the Tech Talk podcast here on the Tech Side Network.
Woot, woot. And for me, you can find me on Twitter, handle LSULaw2009, obviously on our show here, as well as on the Tech Talk podcast on the Tech Side Network. So with that, in closing, you can find us by simply searching for the AndroidXperience or Tech Side in your podcast client of choice, or you can subscribe to the show in iTunes. Please take the time to leave us a review and comment. Alternatively, we have another link for our non-iTunes listeners, which hopefully that's most of you on an Android, listen to an Android podcast, unless it's those who like to listen to What's the Better Life, which you can find on our show notes. We have a Patreon page. This gives you, our dedicated and loyal listeners, an opportunity to support the podcast for as little as $1 a month. If you'd like to support us, visit our support page at patreon.com/techside. Leave us a comment on Twitter at AXP Podcast, or email the network at techsidenetwork@gmail.com. Check out our website at AndroidXperience.com. Also, be sure to check out all our other great podcast blogs, photo galleries, and the TechSide store at techside.net. So with that, we thank you all for listening, and goodbye and good night.
Good night.
Yep.
Night.
Save us money. I need a new mic.